So in this video, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the Sakura Jelly Roll gel pen. I don't really talk about these so much just because they're so popular that they weren't even on my review radar because they're just something that is just around always. So it was just so ever present. I never even thought to bring it up. And then I had bought a few new ones recently, so I figured I'd do a quick review. So in case you don't know the whole backstory, Sakura is a Japanese company based in Kyoto. They make a number of different pens and paints and color materials and things like that. But here in the US, they're best known for the Jelly Roll, which is the first ever gel pen. Like, this is the pen that started gel pens. Like, there were rollerball pens. Those had been around for some time. And the gel material, which is sort of a thickener within the rollerball, was invented by Sakura in the 80s. The Jelly Roll is sort of one of the original pens to stay in production. It's sold in all sorts of different colors. Like, this is black, but it's also sold in metallics and neons and fluorescents and like ones with little sparkles in them. It's just a very versatile line because gel ink is very good at carrying either sparkles, like little tiny bits of powdered aluminum, which are these sparkles, but also very bright colors and other things that it's difficult to do with a dye that you would find in like a rollerball or a ballpoint. So the Jelly Roll is a very standard stick style, so capped gel pen. It is not refillable or replaceable or customizable or anything like that. It's just a piece of plastic in a body, a cap in the back, and then a piece on the front. And could you pry this off and get the piece out? Yes, but I don't believe the company sells refills. So it's really just a very simple gel pen. It's got a big gel refill in it. And as you know, the gel refills are very wide. This is a water-based ink. One of the biggest downsides of gel pens is that they wear out really quickly. Again, they are water-based. So as you write, you're putting down a higher volume of ink to, per letter or per line, whatever, relative to a ballpoint. But it comes with a really nice flow, a lot of smoothness, and a really wet writing style. It's more akin to a fountain pen than a ballpoint. And then, again, the ability to carry really nice dyes and pigments and other things. Past that, the pen's very simple. Has a plastic cap. Cap's like very old school Bic type cap. It's that sort of like hard plastic that bends a little bit. It's kind of a little bit sharp. There's no special features here or anything like that. It just clips on, and that's it. It's a nice pen for just kind of having around. It's very simple and reliable, but there's definitely no frills. It's not sold in a click style, but it is a nice pen for for spinning, if you could spin pens. Anyway, so the main thing with Sakura is that it's very popular with artists because it has so many different colors, and it's really nice for that. But I'm not going to get into the different art uses. I just wanted to get into two styles, the sort of the plain, the classics, and then the metallics, just to give you explanation of sort of what a basic pen looks like and then what the metallic looks like. And then if it's interesting to you, you could explore past that. Here are two quick writing samples I did recently. This was sort of a dry start with the Jelly Roll, and then it started to write really nicely down the line. This one right here, the classic, is a 0.6 millimeter, and that's sort of the standard Jelly Roll. They don't really talk so much about their sizes because it's not like designed to be a very technical product, but it's really sold primarily in 0.6 millimeter. They do sell some specialty sizes like the metallics and others up to 1.0 millimeter. But again, they don't get into the sizes. It doesn't say it on there. It's basically like, do you want a very bold line like a metallic? Or do you want something that's more aimed at just general writing, in which case they do have the 0.6 in the classics. I believe there's a 0.8 as well, but you have to check out unsharpened.com to get all those sorts of really deep details. So I do like writing with these, although I would say, generally speaking, these aren't like my favorite gel pens. They have a nice smooth flow, but they're not as smooth as say an Energel or a Jetstream or something that's known for smoothness. You have a little bit of feedback when you're writing and a pretty nice consistent line. I like it in the black. It's not something I would choose over an Energel or a Sarasa or something like that, kind of like my go-to gels, but I don't really have any problems with this one. It's okay for note-taking and general use, but more often than that, the jelly rolls are something you would buy a big pack of, like a 12 or 24 pack. They sell in packs up to, I think, 60 or 70 pens, and you would use it for art purposes. And that's kind of the market they've really focused on. So you don't really get too much attention on these for general use. And you know what, for general use, I would say they're okay. And that is the jelly roll. Again, there's that writing sample again. It's when it's flowing nicely, which is most of the time, it's a nice wet pen. It's Sakura. It's a nice wet gel pen, not as smooth as an Energel, but you do get a really nice color from it. This is a really true black color. Then this one's been running a little bit dry lately, as you can see here, but if you give it a second and you continuously write, it is fine. I have found these to be, I would say, okay on the consistency side, but not great. It's one of those gel pens that seems like it sort of runs out in the middle, which is one of the people's big complaints with the gel pens. And then this is the metallic. You could see it goes on really, really wet and thick, and it's more of a specialty or art pen, maybe something you would use for writing outside of a birthday card or something where you want to put down a lot of, like a very thick line. You don't mind if it's a little goopy. And then if you do push down too hard or make too straight of a line, then you tend to get really heavy railroading, as you can see right here, where actually the ball of the pen is pushing the ink aside, and it's creating basically an empty space in the middle. That's definitely a flaw with how this pen writes, and it comes from pushing too hard and pushing the ink out of the way. If you go a little bit less force, it's okay, but if you go too hard or too fast, under some circumstances, you can cause that railroading. It's really probably coming more from writing too quickly than it is from anything else. And you could see, if we get it to focus, this sort of line right here does not have it, but this one and this one, they do. It's a little hard to pick up because it's hard to differentiate between the metallic sort of coating and the, I guess, the sheen of the metallic versus the railroading, but this one you could see it pretty badly right here. The metallic is nice if it's like it's not quite the silver you would find from, I think Pentel has a nice silver, and the Signo has a really nice silver, so it's not quite as good as that, but it's a nice kind of dull metallic. Anyway, this has gone on longer than I intended, but the point I'm trying to make is that the Sakura Jelly Roll are very solid gel pens with a long history. Definitely not my favorite for general writing. For that, I would definitely say get a Zebra Sarasa or a Pentel Energel. Those are my top picks these days. Pilot is pretty good at gels too. These have a huge range of colors, and if you want to buy a nice set for artistic purposes, these are a good way to go. They make a good gift, I would say. A lot of people know what jelly rolls are. They know it's a premium gel pen, and they're really good at artistic uses, but also sort of like journaling and other things where you want a lot of colors. They're pretty reasonably priced. You can buy them on their own for about maybe $1.50 each, and if you buy big sets, you can get them down into the 75-cent range. So for that, I do like them. I know there's a lot of cheaper competitors like Arteza in the gel space, and those are nearly as good as these, but they're not as good as the jelly rolls. So these are definitely the way to go for large purchases of 50 plus colors, but at that point you're getting a better deal on them, so it's a little bit of a different story. Anyway, that's the Sakura Jelly Roll. It's a nice pen and okay for general use, but worth buying a few and checking them out. Thanks for watching.